So we're back down the Syndicate, Thursday evening, and yeah, things are a little bit busier down here tonight, which is very frustrating because I shouldn't be here, in the sense that I've got a busy weekend coming up and there are things that I probably should have been doing tonight instead, but a bit of a turn in the weather in that the other night it was throwing it down all day and night, and tonight it's gone flat calm, 17 degrees at the minute. I'm sat here with my t-shirt on, it's nearly 9:30. And yeah, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to just rinse and repeat, get back in the swim, just do what we've been doing, and maybe eke a bite out. Problem is, I've got down here and it's actually quite busy. I think there's been 4 or 5 anglers on today. A couple of them have left and just doing days. But yeah, so yeah, anyway, as a consequence, I've not been able to get in the swim that we've been doing the fish from, so that's really annoying, really annoying, but it is what it is, you know. At the end of the day, it's fishing, and you know, someone wants to go in that swim, they can go in that swim. It's not like I've got my name on it or anything. It's just, yeah, it's just frustrating because I know that normally there wouldn't be anyone in that swim on this particular day of the week, most weeks of the year. So anyway, it is what it is. So I've gone in a peg number 8, which is actually about 40 yards, 50 yards to the right of that swim. So we're not a million miles away. Yeah, we've had a quick lead up, sort of. There's not much going on out there, to be honest. There's a bit of that structure that's out in front of the other swim, but it's nowhere near as pronounced as it is in the other swim that we've been in. So yeah, use the boat to put out the 3 rods. We've got some overhanging trees and branches here which are very annoying, but yeah, that's the beauty of the boat. There's no need to stress. Put one out at 8 wraps, 7 wraps and 5, and really the 8 and the 7 are just too far to underarm flick. Could have probably got the 5 wraps one out, but yeah, with the boat, using the stringers and the PVA, it's just one run out with the boat, line it up with a tree, you know, drive it out till you hit the clip, and then bombs away, feel it down to the bottom. It's really nice. So that's what we've done. We've got 3 rods out, 3 bottom baits with 3 stringers, and yeah, we'll just see what happens. I'm feeling hopeful because I do think in this swim as well it does get traffic. I'm sure it gets traffic, and I think the fish move right to left, left to right, maybe a couple of times through the evening, night, and then the morning. So I do think there's a chance of a bite. I'm not seeing anything here, which is obviously a bit concerning, but the fish really, they're not in that kind of showy mood. They're more just been cruising, enjoying the warmth, I think. So we'll see. Maybe as the light drops and we go into the night, maybe we'll see or hear something, and if we do, that's great. But yeah, I think even if we don't, I still think there will be passing traffic at some point through the night and into the morning. So that's the plan anyway. We're in this swim because we were forced to, really, more than anything. The guy who was in the swim that I wanted to go back in, he's actually leaving really early in the morning. He said he was going at 4:30, which is really quite frustrating, because obviously bite time for me in that swim has been at like 5, 5:30. Well, if he is going and I've not had anything or seen anything by then, I'll be very, very tempted to either move into that swim or use my boat to drive a rig down there and in front of that swim. If he's gone at 4:30 and I just drop a stringer out in that zone, it's going to be difficult to sort of gauge exactly where it needs to be, but I'm thinking I could put the rod on the rest, maybe drive it down there, and try and line it up as best I can. It's going to be tricky because obviously I want to feel it down, so yeah, we'll figure something out, because it might not even come to that. I will just check actually before it goes dark whether he is doing the night, because he was umming and ahhing, but he did have his bed out and a few bits and pieces and his stove and what have you, so it certainly looked like he was doing the night. But yeah, I will double check, because if he's gone then definitely a chance of moving and getting back in there. But yeah, that's fishing for you. At the end of the day, you're not going to be able to get in the same swim week in, week out. It's just not possible. So yeah, anyway, that's a quick update. I was planning to do more filming really, but yeah, it's not been possible. So yeah, I was just saying, I was hoping to do more filming. I wanted to get some sort of B-roll, really, get some video of me tackling up and getting the rods out. But yeah, it's just not been possible, because like I say, there was people, well, someone in the swim I wanted, other people on the lake, and it just, I had to do a lap and just make sure that I was making the right call. I mean, if it didn't look right anywhere, I would more than happy to have just gone home, to be honest. Well, not happy, but I would have gone home if I felt like there wasn't an opportunity. So, but yeah, we're here, we're doing it. 3 rods out, 3 rigs with no work, bait with no works, spots are clear, fish probably aren't here at the minute, but yeah, I do have a feeling that they will pass this area at some point between now and sort of 6 AM. Well, we shall see. Fingers crossed. Well, good morning. What a glorious morning it is. It's absolutely stunning. It was really warm last night. Don't think it dropped much below sort of 12, 13 degrees, maybe more. But fortunately, nothing to report on the fish front. Not seeing anything, wasn't hearing anything last night. And yeah, it's all looking a bit like it's game over really. So it's 20 past 6 now. The sun is starting, well, the sun's been up for well over an hour now, but it's now penetrating the water, and yeah, doesn't look like there's going to be much more chance of a bite now, to be honest. So yeah, it's frustrating, but it's the only swim really we would have gone in. There was no reason to be thinking about going in any other swim, to be honest. Maybe swim one, but that was occupied. I think the guy went after it went dark, so yeah, probably wasn't the one. So yeah, nothing to report. Had a big liner. It was about sort of 9:30 last night. Don't know what that was, maybe a fish moving in close. And then yeah, I had a pretty good sleep. I woke up once about 2 o'clock and then woke up again. I think it was 4:45. It was just coming light. I remembered that the guy who was in the swim I wanted to get in said he was going at 4:30. To me, it's just insanity. I mean, an overnighter and then leaving at 4:30. Yeah, it's just bizarre. Bite time for me in that swim has been 5 o'clock. Between 5 and 6. So, I get it. You've got to go to work, I've got to go to work. But is it really worth an overnighter if you've got to leave the lake at 4:30? I don't know, I'm probably just feeling a bit annoyed that I couldn't get in that swim, really. But he's a nice guy, no problems with him at all. Real sound guy. And yeah, so anyway, he's left. I've not seen anything of him this morning, but yeah, what I did is I had a walk down there about 10 to 5 it was, and yeah, I just thought, well, he's gone, I'm only 30-40 yards away, let's just get a single rod in here. So got the bait boat, clipped up to 8 wraps, put a fresh PVA stringer on, and had a single bank stick put in down there. I've only got one bank stick with me at the minute, so I must have just put the rear resting on my bucket, just loosen the clutch off. I could have kept the rod here and swung the boat out from this swim, but I wanted to get it absolutely spot on the spot on the area that I've had fish from. So that's what I did. I did that probably getting on for about maybe an hour and 15 minutes ago now, so I thought there might have been a chance for a quick bite there if they were down on that spot. But yeah, unfortunately that's not yielded anything yet either, so yeah, just got myself a coffee on the go. I think we're probably going to get packed up a bit earlier today. Doesn't feel particularly carpy right now. I have seen 2 fish show down in the, well, not the ultra shallow water, but certainly down that end of the lake. So yeah, I don't know if this swim is just not getting the traffic that the other swim gets, or whether last night the fish just weren't here. I mean, I wasn't really seeing or hearing them. I did hear one on dark down by the dam, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure how far the fish are going at the minute in the night, and obviously that's all I care about, because I'm not here in the day. So to me it only really matters what's going on at night. And yeah, for me to not hear or see anything really, I think I did hear something in the early hours, but yeah, I couldn't see anything. So yeah, I don't know, it's a tough one. The next 4, 5, 6 days, maybe more. The weather forecast's going to be hot, high pressure, 25, 26, 27 degrees, so that may well now be the last opportunity for me in terms of the spring. We'll be back next week. Obviously, if they're not spawning, if the fish are spawning, then that will be end of it in terms of the spring. But yeah, I'm trying to think now how many nights I've done. I will work it out in a bit and try and sort of gauge the success. I mean, I've had 3 fish doing these overnighters, so in my head it feels like it's a success, but I would like to just work out how many nights I've actually done so far, and yeah, we can sort of gauge how sort of successful we think we've been. Obviously I'm not comparing to anyone else, it's only me against the lake. Okay, last night it was a bit against the anglers as well, just because it was quite busy. But yeah, we know what the stock is in the lake, we know the size of the lake, we know it's not a walkover. So taking all that into account, we should be able to sort of calculate whether we think what we've had so far is a success or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but as I say, I just want to sit down and just work out how many nights I've done. Annoyingly, I seem to have pitched under a tree where there's an abundance of pigeons or seagulls or something up there, and as a consequence, my bivvy and skull cap are now covered in what you can only describe as shite. So yeah, the big plan of getting the brolly up and the skull cap to dry it off looks like it's massively backfired. It's going to have to come out now when I get home anyway, to try and clean all that shite off. Yeah, nightmare. Thankfully most of it is on the skull cap at the minute, but yeah, I can't understand why the brolly hasn't even dried. It was so warm last night. But yeah, anyway. Okay, so I've just had a little look through my calendar, just trying to work out exactly how many nights I've done, and yeah, we've fished 4 nights in April, and we've done 2 nights in May, which are the 2 this week. So the one earlier this week and the one last night that we're just finishing off now. So outside of that, I did a walk around just after the clocks went forward at the end of March, and that was just after work. I just called in, spent a couple of hours just lapping the lake, just trying to get back in tune with it, but I didn't fish that night. And then there was another night, which I think was definitely April, and it was definitely April, and it was definitely before I'd caught those 2 fish. So I think it was 3rd week in April. Really, really cold night. I had all my gear with me. Probably remember from the vlog, I had all my gear on the barrow. I was waiting to see an opportunity, and it just never came. I spent 4 or 5 hours on the lake and then just went home. So I'm not counting that one because I didn't actually do the night. So yeah, 6 nights fishing is what we've done thus far, and yeah, all of those have just been overnights between work, so sort of 10, 12, 13 hour sessions, nothing more than that. Just gonna slurp my coffee. So I think it's important that I sit back and try and gauge what success looks like. Now, I think I've mentioned before, there's about 45 fish in this lake. It's about 6 acres, and lots of them are old fish. You know, they've seen it all, they've been round the block, they're not stupid, they know how to avoid being caught. So when I step back and think, right, okay, I've had three fish, 3 bites, we've landed all 3 from 6 nights fishing, I would say that's a real success. That's definitely a huge, well, for me it's a huge success. If we'd been dropping onto a runs water and we'd had 3 fish in 6 nights, you might be thinking, okay, that's not the one, maybe we should have had 10 or 15 fish. But this is certainly on the other end of that scale. It's a hard lake, it's got old fish in it, it's fairly low stock considering it's 6 acres. And you know, I've heard reports of people, anglers joining this lake and literally not catching anything. And I can see how and why that happens. You know, it is not an easy lake. So I think for me to do what I've done so far and have 6 nights on the bank and catch 3 fish, I think is a real result. Now, one of those fish was like quite small, 15 pounds. The other one was a repeat from last year, that was around the 17, 18 pound mark. And one of them was the 24 pound apple slice mirror that we caught. Now the way I look at it is, you can't choose which fish picks up your bait. You know, maybe if you got a surface opportunity or a stalking opportunity, then maybe. Certainly what I'm doing, fishing out sort of 12 feet of water, you can't choose what picks up your bait. So 3 carp, regardless of size, in my opinion, is a massive result. So I'm really happy with that, and I think it's important that we all take stock at some point, and you know, because it's easy to wake up this morning and think, shit, I've not caught anything, it's all going bad, and etc, etc. But you know, when you sit back and think, okay, 6 nights, 3 fish from a low stock, tricky water, and I'm only dropping in for overnight, I think it's a right result. It's a right result. So yeah, sort of thinking from here forward. Now we're going to have some hot weather come over us this coming weekend and through into next week. The plan at the minute is to come back and do at least 1 night here next week. Definitely the Tuesday and possibly the Thursday as well. Now that might change if the fish decide they're going to spawn. Okay, we'll just leave them to it, and that, if that does happen, and yeah, we'll then be back well into June, no doubt. But yeah, in terms of comparing what I've done this year compared to last year, last year I didn't actually start fishing the lake until the middle of June, so we're already several steps ahead of where we were last year. Okay, it would have been nice perhaps to have caught a few more, but as I say, you know, 3 fish for 6 nights I think is a reasonable result. I think it's a great result, really. I mean, I am really happy with that. So yeah, like I say, and I'm several steps ahead on where I was last year. I was coming on in the June last year and starting from scratch. I think it was the middle of July before I'd eked a bite. So yeah, fingers crossed, once spawning is out of the way, you know, we can then sort of pick back up where we were. We've got the knowledge of the swim next door, the structure, we've got various distances and things in our heads of what might work going forward. And on top of all that, we've got the sort of other style of fishing that I'd sort of say could work well in the summer and did work well last summer, you know, fishing in the edge. There's some swims, particularly to my right, down from sort of peg 10 onwards. Some really good close in the edge opportunities down there. I don't really think the fish have been getting in there yet, but certainly based on what I was seeing last year, there's no reason I don't expect them to get in there this coming summer, you know, in the edge. You know, talking like a foot of water right in the edge. So there's those kinds of opportunities. There was a couple of opportunities last July and August where it got really hot really early in the morning, and there was chances on the far bank in the edge. So there's all these kinds of opportunities that I know could present themselves. Whereas at the minute the fishing we've been doing is largely open water, 3 rods out there, minimal bait, and sort of fishing where we've seen them, but equally sort of hoping they'll turn up in the morning. So yeah, there's definitely opportunity there as the summer goes on to do a bit more intimate stuff, if you like, you know, fishing in the edge, underarm flicks out of peg 10, and yeah, maybe getting up in the shallows depending on if that weed comes up. If the weed comes up, it's obviously a magnet to the carp. It'd be foolish to ignore it. So yeah, there's plenty to think about, and there's plenty to look forward to, but yeah, as I say, going back to the start of this clip, 6 nights, 3 fish, and we've got all the knowledge in the bank from the last 2 months of being up here to carry us through into the summer. So I'm quite optimistic about what might be ahead for the summer. Obviously it would have been nice to have caught some of these fish at the, you know, perhaps at their best weights, but really it's not about the weights. You know, the fish in here are mega, really old fish. It's about the fish more than it is about the weight, and it's always that way with me anyway. I'm not, like I say, there's a half chance here of catching a PB, but if it was all about PBs, I wouldn't be on here, because you know, you may as well be somewhere where you've got more chance. But yeah, it's more about the fish. I mean, some mega old scaly mirrors in here that I really would like to catch. So yeah, we're going to enjoy it. We're going to carry on. Like I say, next week, if we can get down here, we will. If spawning occurs, then we'll skip it. The following week, I won't be able to come just due to various commitments, and it will then be sort of mid-June anyway. So yeah, I'll sign off here now, and well, fingers crossed. We've still got an hour or so with the rods in. Might happen, but if it doesn't, then I'll catch you next week. Well, it's last chance saloon now. Kit's all packed away, and we're now just sat in the swim that we would have loved to have been in last night. So this rod's been out here since 5 o'clock this morning. It's now just gone 8 o'clock. Don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. Not seen anything. It's pretty dead, to be honest. The sun's quite high now. Yeah, I think any chance that there was has now gone. We were fishing down there to the right, about 30 yards, 40 yards that way. Nothing happened there. So yeah, unusually quiet night in the sense that there just wasn't much happening. Didn't hear much, didn't see much. You know, it was like a mill pond as well, so if if they were showing, you would have seen and heard them. So yeah, maybe they're getting ready to spawn, I don't know. There has been groups of fish getting in those Norfolk reeds up there, so maybe they are getting ready to spawn. And if they are, well, that might mean that next week's session might have to be put on hold. But we'll see. I think last year it was June before they spawned, and it's definitely not been as warm as it has last year so far, so yeah, we'll see. But yeah, another 5 minutes for this rod, and then I'll get it skipped in and we'll get the rod on the barrow, get loaded up and get back home, get working. Yeah, if we do get out next week, then I will obviously do some more vlogging, but if not, we might be back after spawning now. So I think I've mentioned probably right at the start of the probably at the start of the first vlog actually, that when I did my little intro, I think I mentioned to you guys that video was new to me and that was going to be a learning curve, which is true. Still a learning curve, still trying to feel my way into the video side. But I did also mention that the stills and photography side of things is quite familiar to me. It's photography as a whole is a hobby, outside of fishing and inside of fishing, and yeah, it's certainly not a full-time job. I've got a 9-to-5 desk job, unfortunately, but photography is a nice side hobby alongside fishing, so the kind of two go hand in hand. Now, I think I've also mentioned that I'm a member of Penning's Carp Academy, so that's an online platform full of helpful tutorials. Been a member of there for, well, since it was started really, 4 years ago now I think it is, and met some incredible, amazing people through there, some great friends. I've been on 2 of the socials that Adam has put on as part of the platform, and yeah, seemingly lots of members in that platform, in that community. We're enjoying seeing my self-takes. They thought they were good. This is not me blowing smoke or anything like that. I don't consider myself an expert or anything like that in photography. It is just a hobby that I enjoy, and that's how I want it to stay really. But then equally, lots of people, were recognising the pictures that I was putting in, particularly some of the night shots, and yeah, that was nice. Obviously, having a chat with the guys and sort of passing on useful hints and tips that I sort of use in my photography. And yeah, on the first social that I went on, I actually did a little bit of a photography workshop for the people that had attended. I think there was about 40 people, 50 people there in total. Completely out of my comfort zone, if I'm being honest. Presenting and talking to lots of people like that's really outside of my comfort zone, but I was confident in what I was talking about. It was just, speaking publicly like that. So yeah, we did the workshop, sort of spoke about my process and technique for doing self-takes. And yeah, I suppose lots of the people that I became friendly with through there then started asking me questions about what kit, what camera to use, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, by accident really became somehow a point of contact for photography, which, you know, is it's quite a thing. You know, it's to be, you know, recognised in that way, because people think what you were doing photography wise is good, then yeah, it's a real feel good factor. So yeah, that's kind of been going on for the last 3 or 4 years. You know, people sort of asking for advice and what kit should they buy and X, Y and Z. And so yeah, as I was saying, we've had 2 socials. We had one down at Oxley's, we had one down at Tar Farm, so both on the linear complex. One of them was in November, one of them was in October, I believe. And now we've got the 3rd one, which is going to be at Catch 22 down in Norfolk. Now, I was a little bit on the fence as to whether I would be able to go, mainly due to distance being one. It's well over 3.5, 4 hours for me to get there from where I am up in Manchester. Couple that with the fact that a few days after the social, I need to be back down in Norfolk for a family event. And yeah, just all these things were just contributing to, well, as well as work, not really being allowed to have that Friday off because it runs from Friday to Sunday. I wasn't really sure whether I was going to attend. I wanted to attend because they are great occasions. They are great laughs, you know, good food, good drink, good company. And the last 2 have been great, so I really wanted to attend, and you know, I wasn't too bothered whether I was going to attend in the fishing sense or not. So basically there are fishing spaces and there are non-fishing spaces, and the 2 that I've been on so far, I've fished on both of them and that's fine, but equally I think a lot of what you get from it really is from a social sense anyway, so it wouldn't have bothered me if I wasn't fishing. So what I decided was, and now I can't have the Friday off work due to various reasons. I thought, well, there's really no point in me having a fishing space and not turning up till God knows what time on the Friday evening or Saturday morning. That's just a waste of time, and it's wasting a space for someone else that could fish for the duration. So what I did, I got in touch with Adam, you know, and this is another thing, obviously, it's his socials, he's there at the socials, you can ask him anything, you can get advice from him, you know, he's very approachable, and he's obviously seen what I've been doing with my self-takes and all that kind of stuff, and I just sort of put myself forward and said to him, you know, would you mind if I came down to the social in a non-fishing sense, and basically just got some interesting shots for you photography wise, and yeah, he was more than happy for me to do that. So basically I'm going to travel down after work on the Thursday night, and I'm going to stay down in Norfolk on that Thursday night, and then the place that I'm staying in, I'm going to then work remotely on the Friday. Now, if I can finish at 3-4 o'clock, I can then get myself down to Catch 22, which is roughly about 40 minutes from where I'll be staying. So hopefully I could be on site for 5 o'clock, something like that. Now the event itself starts at 10 a.m. on the Friday, so I will obviously miss the start of it and, you know, everyone getting set up and X, Y and Z, but yeah, I just really wanted to be there, and I wanted to try and offer some help if I could with the photography. Now, obviously I've mentioned that the self-takes I'm pretty comfortable with. Now, obviously if people catch fish, I will help them and do pictures with them. If they want to do self-takes, I'm more than happy to talk them through that, if they've got a fish that they want to do that with, or I'm more than happy to do the pictures for them with my kit or with theirs. So that's one aspect to it, but I think the other aspect is trying to capture the event. It's a social, trying to capture moments. I believe Adam's going to be doing a slideshow. We've also got Frank Warwick coming down, which is just going to be incredible. So people are going to be chatting with him and asking questions, and he's probably going to have his range of hook baits there as well. We've got Donk Lads coming down. He's Paul's setting up a work area where he's going to actually be demoing how he makes his leads. So that's going to be a good eye-opener for anyone that's not seen that process. He's also going to have his merch there as well that he's going to be selling, as well as his bait range that he's got now, and obviously all of his different styles and shapes of leads as well. So yeah, my job really is to try and capture the event, capture the social, capture the moments, and hopefully come away with a set of images that I can feed back to Adam, and hopefully there'll be some in there that are real good ones. So yeah, so that's what's coming up. So I just wanted to mention that because that's something that I'm really looking forward to. I may vlog a little bit there as well whilst I'm doing that, just to sort of give you an idea of what I'm doing, what kind of pictures I'm getting, and what we're trying to get from it, really. So there may well be a vlog on that, as I say. And yeah, if there is a vlog on that, what I'll do is I'll drop in some of the images that we get from that as well, so you can see a bit of the event, a bit of what it's about. I know that it's going to be filmed by Adam and his cameraman Chris, so that it will end up on the platform anyway. I'm not going to be doing anything major on my little GoPro, but it'll just be from my point of view, and what I'm doing while I'm there, what I'm doing with my camera, what kind of pictures I'm trying to get. And yeah, hopefully it'll be interesting for you guys. Not trying to sell any of it to anyone, you don't have to join Carp Academy or anything like that, but I just wanted to sort of highlight again the photography side of things, and that is another hobby for me, and thankfully here I've got a chance to hopefully get some good images for Adam. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And yeah, of course, looking forward to meeting up with all the guys that I met on the previous socials. So that'll be really good. So yeah, we'll say if we do a vlog on that will probably come later on in the year. Yeah, I think we could drop that in as a little standalone vlog, maybe September, October, around that sort of time. But yeah, just trying to capture lots of useful content, really, and I think if I could get a little vlog from that social, kind of, a bit of what's going on, and then sort of entwine that with what I'm doing, what I'm trying to get in terms of the photography, then yeah, I think we can have a nice little vlog on that as well. So yeah, that's a brief update on what's coming.